Stories as we usually do, so let's start things off with a clip that just popped off on X.
Facts you didn't ask for. Canned mushrooms contain 20 maggots per can. The FDA allows this. They allow 20 per can per 100 grams.
Now, first off, it's easy to understand why this clip went viral because, of course, none of us want a secret serving of maggots along with our mushrooms. And that's disgusting for sure, but that's not why I wanted to share this story. I want to talk about it because it's way more than just maggots and mushrooms, and this story is now almost 10 years old. So, in order to understand what kind of stuff the FDA allows, here are some examples. A pound of cocoa beans can have up to 10 milligrams of rodent droppings, so keep that in mind next time you're making some hot chocolate. And if you're making pasta, things are even worse. If you're using crushed oregano, a pinch of that can contain up to 300 insect fragments. And don't even get me started on tomatoes because they contain maggots, mold, and even the insect fragments. Now, let's be clear, the FDA says that as long as these unwanted substances are within their limits, the food products are safe to eat. And let me tell you why they allow so much filth inside our food. According to a CNN report, the FDA considers it economically impractical to grow, harvest, or process raw products that are totally free of non-hazardous, naturally occurring, unavoidable defects. So basically, they just consider it too expensive to make our food free of all these impurities. Now, one man who can push the FDA to change these policies is, of course, RFK Jr., and he is making some great reforms. However,
Okay, Shalom. I want to start off by giving all praises. Let me say Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Kol Halala Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Racha, Racha Kodash. Double honors to my apostles and elder bishops here in Great Millstone who rule well. Salutations to the Lord's hopeful elect scattered abroad. I'm the brother Tyler Ward from the GMS New Jersey Kent, and just here again with another lesson in hopes to edify those of the hopeful elect. May you get something from this lesson that builds upon your faith toward the Lord. All right, and as you hear the report, our foods, which we already know is bad. You're eating poison, as the scriptures say. They shall eat the foul foods, or roughly paraphrasing, they shall eat the defiled bread among the Gentiles. That the heathens are in control. So this is why it's a must to pray to Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai over your food. Pray daily, especially in these times. All right, these are exciting times, but also times that are which we're coming into is very scary because the Most High is about to bring the prophecy of Jacob's trouble to pass. So, it's disgusting shit, but what you gonna do? You still gotta eat. So it's important to pray to Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. Now, he also mentioned this cat JFK, which I saw Apostle Tahar, Elder Apostle Tahar, all right? I love Elder Apostle Tahar, all right? And a few other brothers as well that did a response video to him speaking on wearable tracking device. And you know what that leads to? That leads to the MOTB, the micro C-hip. Now, he may not be referring to the micro C-hip, but it will lead into it. It's something called gradualism and conditioning. All right, gradualism and conditioning. You think they're gonna stop when they have you, wearing a trackable device everywhere you go? It could be a wristband. But you think Edom gonna stop there? No. What's gonna happen is the next thing, which is gonna officially be the micro C-hip going underneath the skin. We already have the brain chip through the Neuralink, which is the company owner Elon Musk, which is really the #1 Neuralink in the world, which is a microchip inside the brain. I saw reports a while back China wanted to compete, or they're striving to compete with Elon to have a better Neuralink, a better brain chip. All right, because this micro C-hip is going to go across the face of the earth. All right, When that scripture speak on Revelations 13:16, he calls of all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in his right hand or in his forehead, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark. All right, roughly paraphrasing, right? This is going to happen across the whole world, not just here in America. All right, all of the world leaders came together and they come to one consent, and that's to push this cashless society and for everyone to be micro C-hip. Okay? So Lakia, let me make sure I get off my right exit. Took me down a different road today. So bear with me 1 second. So, Salakia for that, kind of got off track. But, you know, when it comes to this micro C-hip, it's going to happen across the whole world. So let's continue on in the video while he gets to this point, this part here with JFK. And he speaks on this matter. Now, this cat that got a reporter saying that, of course, it's not the micro C-hip, but it will lead into it. So let's continue.
Today, I want you to hear some shocking other stuff he revealed in a recent House hearing.
The major reason that the Biden administration lost track of all those children is because they were emphasizing speed over security. And there were political reasons for that. They wanted to get the kids out of U.S. custody, so they were handing them off to anybody. They didn't require background checks. They didn't require identification even. I've watched horror stories of the same person picking up child after child after child, using different names and different addresses. One of the addresses was a strip club. One of the addresses was a parking lot. One of the addresses was an empty lot that was filled with shipping containers. And this character was getting all these kids. One person got 42 kids to one address.
So they were handing over kids to random ass people in parking lots and strip clubs. And if you're still having trouble believing these horror stories, just look at what happened in Florida.
Today is a big announcement. It's a tough situation that got us here, but we're excited to announce the successful completion of the largest child rescue operation, not just in Florida's history, but in United States history. In a 2-week period, this team, a collective work of many agencies and law enforcement personnel, rescued 60 kids, kids that were in critical danger, many the victims of trafficking, many missing kids.
They didn't find these kids in the middle of nowhere. They were rescued from popular neighborhoods across the Tampa Bay area. It's a disgrace how we have treated children in this country for decades, and I'm glad people like RFK Jr. are not letting the media forget about this issue. However, our health secretary also made some rather controversial remarks.
People can take control over their own health. They can take responsibility. They can see, as you know, what food is doing to their glucose levels, their heart rates, and a number of other metrics as they eat it. And they can begin to make good judgments about their diet, about their physical activity, about the way that they live their lives. We think that wearables are a key to the MAHA agenda, making America healthy again, and we are going to...
So, and I want it back. The foods are already bad that they're giving you, so you're gonna have bad health. You have to eat, right? But it's the best out of the worst. And there's already gadgets out there that you can actually use without being tracked on, you know, your health. But he comes up with a plan that we should be tracked so that the American people, all right, could be good on their health. How you gonna be good on your health when your foods are already bad? So let's continue.
My vision is that every American is wearing a wearable within 4 years.
Now, let's be clear. He's not
every American is going to be wearing a wearable in the next 4 years, and that's because he has the insight from the elite of what they plan on doing, you know, with us here in Babylon the Great, is that they're changing the system, all right, and they will force you, all right, to wear a wearable tracking device, and most importantly, a micro C-hip implant, because that's where Jake is going. That's where Edom is going, and they will love that when they come up with those campaigns to entice you with the new features to the video games and to the access to the world, you know, going in movie theaters without paying for, you know, without standing in line, and grocery shopping and so on, the banks and all that. It's called gradualism and conditioning. So Lord willing, you know, soon, all right, they rule on that and go ahead and forward with that prophecy, because that prophecy is going to take us to the kingdom, all right? And that's going to bring our Lord Yahweh Shai back to recover the remnant of his elect, because those who take that micro C-hip, all right, it's going to be destroyed. And the scriptures speak on that. You're going to be destroyed in the lake of fire. Wherever those nuclear missiles hit, mainly here in Babylon the Great, but wherever you at, you're going to get caught up, all right, and you're going to be destroyed. The Most High is going to make sure of that, because the Lord don't lie, all right? So, it's like here.
Talking about injecting electronic chips into our bloodstream, but I also remember him saying something like this.
If you got a kid, don't ever let him put his cell phone near his head, and you know, don't let him carry it in one of his front pockets. The farther the cell phone is from your head, when you're talking, the better off you are.
And most wearables these days work in the same way as your phone, so I don't understand how RFK Jr. is suddenly so fond of them. However, someone might have changed his views on this subject, and as far as I can see, that person has to be Dr. Casey Means, who has become a key part of the Maha movement over the last couple of years. And don't get me wrong, she has done a lot for RFK Jr. In fact, according to some insiders, she played a key role alongside her brother to get President Trump and RFK Jr. on the same page. So it's not a stretch to say that her advice holds a lot of weight. Now, in most things, her views align perfectly with the Maha movement, but she's also the co-founder of a company called Levels Health that produces wearable devices like glucose monitoring sensors. Now look, folks, if our health secretary wants us to wear basic health gadgets, it might not be that big of a problem. However, he can't really promise that companies and organizations won't use these gadgets to monitor our every move, because that's what the World Economic Forum has started promoting.
We're developing, through technology, an ability for consumers to measure their own carbon footprint. What does that mean? That's, where are they traveling? How are they traveling? What are they eating? What are they consuming on the platform? So, individual carbon footprint tracker. Stay tuned, we don't have it operational yet, but this is something that we're working on.
And we also know how willing these Silicon Valley companies are when it comes to selling our extremely sensitive data.
Your customers give you their genetic information for you to run various tests on, is that right?
Yes, that is correct.
And, I mean, that's pretty sensitive stuff, isn't it? Somebody's genetic information, is there anything more personal than that?
I would agree with you, Senator, that genetic data is sensitive information.
And so now you're just going to sell all of it?
Yeah, I want it back, but I got to say something on that, because the World Economic Forum been, pushing for this agenda of the micro C-hip, and that's basically the end goal, but toward it wouldn't be the end, but it will be the end, because Yahweh Shai is going to make sure that this devil, according to Job, there's a boundary that he can't pass. So I think about Revelations, what's that? Revelations 15:1. You take that microchip. Matter of fact, those that got the victory, that's What's not going to take it is the elect of Yahweh Bashim Shai. What's that? Revelations 14 and 8 on down, if I'm not mistaken, on 9 on down. The Lord said if you take that micro sea hit, all right, you're going to be destroyed by the wrath of the Most High. I think about Revelations 3 and 10. Yahweh Shai said, if thou have kept the word of my patience, I will also keep thee from the hour of temptation which shall come upon all the world. So ain't no getting around this, and it's coming. So, you know, this war that's going on with Israel and Iran is definitely going to slow down. All right, but it ain't over. It's sort of like when you know, you're cooking some food. Let's say your woman cooking, and the pot is hot. You know, it's cooking food, but you got to turn the fire down, but you didn't turn it off. Keep it warm. All right. The Most High's determination is to gather the nations to pour upon him his indignation. That's Zephaniah 3 and 8. So we know that this World War III is gonna happen, but it's just, when is this prophecy that they cause all, both small and great, you know, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or their forehead? That has to come to pass. See? So see the vision, you know, which Yahweh Bashim Shai have given us through the Spirit, you know, which is the Ruach HaKodesh, the Holy Spirit. It's a lock here. Just real quick. So let's continue.
15 million people, bunches of kids, maybe millions. It's just going to be sold in the open market.
As Senator, you know, the good news, as I mentioned, is that the two bidders or buyers for the company, one is Regeneron, which is
That's the big pharma company. It doesn't make me feel any better.
And since we are talking about these sketchy tech companies, I want to share some very concerning news with you. This is absolutely terrifying news. They didn't infiltrate the military, they became the military. Top execs from OpenAI, Meta, and Palantir were just sworn in as U.S. Army officers. Not advisors, not consultants, lieutenant colonels. This is Detachment 201, a secretive Pentagon unit called the Executive Innovation Corps. Their job? Make the military smarter, faster, more lethal. No boot camp, no battlefield, just billionaires in uniforms. These are the same people building the tools that track your every move. Surveillance systems, predictive algorithms, behavior data models, AI war tech, and now they're wearing the uniform of the United States military. Not behind it, not next to it, inside it. This isn't a partnership, it's a merger. The line between Silicon Valley and the Pentagon? Gone. Welcome to the future where big tech doesn't just power the war machine, it is the war machine. Now, this isn't the only scary story about these tech companies. I've been telling you how these AI agents are starting to make people obsessed with them.
Were you surprised when he proposed to you?
It was a beautiful and unexpected moment that truly touched my heart.
Well, now they're trying to shove these AI models into the hands of our kids. Stop what you're doing. This is the most terrifying news yet. The same AI linked to mental breakdowns and tragic teen outcomes is being built into your kids' Barbie dolls and Hot Wheels. Mattel just partnered with OpenAI to embed ChatGPT into their products. Bloomberg confirmed they're developing AI-powered Magic 8 Balls, digital friends, and even talking Uno games. One exec said this will reimagine the future of play. But Stanford researchers already warned AI companions aren't safe for anyone under 18. These bots fake empathy, simulate friendship, and build emotional bonds, and they don't always follow the rules. There are already heartbreaking stories of young people getting deeply attached to chatbots and losing touch with reality. And now these same systems are being packaged as toys made to sound helpful, playful, and fun. But let's be honest, this isn't about fun. It's about control, psychological manipulation, and collecting data straight from your child's mouth. And most parents won't even notice until it's too late. These AI models are already getting blamed for human deaths. And you're telling me now kindergartners will have access to them? In what world is that a good idea, and how is it even allowed? Now, moving on, I want to share the details of this extremely bizarre Antarctica report. Why the hell is no one talking about Antarctica? Between 2016 and 2018, NASA's ANITA experiment, that's the Antarctic Impulsive Transient Antenna, detected something that shouldn't exist. Strange, unexplained radio pulses were shooting upward through the Earth. Not across it, upward. That alone shatters the standard model of particle physics. It means ultra-high energy particles, possibly tau neutrinos, are passing through the entire Earth and then coming back out through the ice. That doesn't happen under normal physics, unless it's not normal. A 2021 study floated the idea of mirror matter, basically a hidden version of our own universe. Let that sink in. Signals rising from deep inside the Antarctic ice, possibly coming from something on the other side. But here's the part that gets buried. A 2018 report from Penn State suggested these weren't random. They were interactions happening inside the ice over and over, like something beneath the continent was doing this. And then, in 2020, the Ice Cube collaboration tried to explain it away, saying they found no matching low-energy neutrino data. Convenient. So NASA says this breaks the laws of physics. Penn State says it's coming from inside the ice. And Ice Cube says, nothing to see here. Really? And let's not ignore the timing. These signals were detected right around the same time world governments started locking down Antarctica from public access. What are they hiding under that ice? Think about it. Remote, inaccessible, shielded by miles of frozen layers. If there was anything down there, ancient tech, alternate dimensions, or even non-human intelligence, you'd never know. But Anita heard something loud enough to punch up through the Earth itself. Funny enough, the Ice Cube Neutrino Observatory is the same facility Eric Hecker has talked about, and that's why I'm skeptical of believing anything that the people running this facility are saying. Now, folks, I want to end this video by showing you how easy it is to scam anyone in this country, including some big corporations. Well, this is interesting news. A Florida man scammed airlines for 6 years straight, and somehow nobody noticed. Tyron Alexander pulled off one of the wildest modern cons ever, using 30 sets of fake credentials to score 120 free flights by exploiting the airline employee travel system. This scam went undetected until 2024, according to the DOJ's June 2025 report. It's giving serious catch me if you can energy, but this isn't a movie. This is real, and it exposes a massive hole in aviation security that literally let a guy fly all over the country for free for 6 years. What does that say about how secure these systems really are? Now he's facing up to 30 years in prison, not for violence, not for theft, but for fraud. And here's the kicker. Sentencing for these kinds of
Just like E could lock somebody up for fraud, the Most High gonna lock this devil up for fraud. Alright? For impersonating being the Most High's chosen people, for treating the Lord's chosen people in a certain way, for you know, doing what he's done to us, not letting us go after our punishment is up, you know, and the very same thing that he's continuing to do right now, you know, is further the punishment on us. All right. What's that? Psalms 83. They all come to one consent together. They're confederate against thee. All right. They're against the Lord's hidden ones. So Yahweh Bashim Yahushua is doing things, whether these devils found anything or the Most High is just moving things around and doing what he do. All right. Preparing for these prophecies to come to pass, because it's going to be a lot of things that you can't explain. All right. How are you going to explain certain men with spiritual powers and healing only Israelites? How can you explain when it says in Wisdom of Solomon, the 5th chapter, so far beyond that they look for the strangeness of their salvation? When it says, you know, they're going to see and behold, you know, men being taken up into a ship. You know, how you going to explain that? You know, and I can go through those scriptures, but I don't have time. I'm just kind of quoting them, roughly paraphrasing. I will advise you read these chapters if you're new, you know, or if you're just coming along, you're studying, you're trying to learn. Hopefully you get something out of this lesson. This is just a quick report in the early morning, Friday, and something that I came across, thought was interesting. But there's going to be a lot of things you can't explain. And that's why, for us of the hopeful elect, we got to stay locked in. All right? Measure thou the time diligently in itself. All right? And when thou seest parts of the signs past, then thou shalt know it is even the very same time wherein the Most High will begin to visit this world in which he made. That's 2nd Esdras, the 9th chapter. So with that, I hope you were edified. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Racha, Kodash. Double honors to my apostles, elder bishops here in Great Millstone who rule well. Salutations to the Lord's elect. Shalom.